As Attorney General, I need to be not only a tough law enforcement officer, but one that exemplifies adhering to and obeying the law. I want you to know that throughout my life, I have striven to obey the law and to be a good example of one who cherishes the rule of law in our nation and in our state. I've had many challenges to that. I've had many people who have sought to have me compromise my standards as an attorney. And even before that. And I remember on one occasion being asked to look into these documents and to sign off on them, even though I knew they weren't right. My job was at peril, and I explained that I would not do so. I've had other experiences, personal experiences, when my family was jeopardized. I recall, for example, one time we were going to buy a home. We were moving to Washington, D.C., where I was working as an accountant. And when I arrived, I was excited to move our family into our new home. We showed up to sign the papers, and as I read the paperwork, our family was in the driveway in a U-Haul van. We'd been away from each other for 2 months. We were going to sleep there that night. And when I read the paperwork, they had misrepresented the transaction by not recording some of the items that they had provided to me. It meant that the amount of the deposit that we were putting on the house was lower than they represented, and I refused to sign that. And they said, please go ahead and sign it, it doesn't matter, everything's fine. And I said, no, we will not do that. Those documents have to reflect the transaction properly. We went home that night, we got back in the U-Haul van, we had to sleep in another place, and it took another week before we were able to resolve those problems. But we did, and we walked into the home knowing that we had complied with our word in signing that contract. That's the kind of integrity, that's the kind of adherence to the rule of law that I want to bring to this office.